other side is also going to come out with 3 ults.
Here's the Nano Blade.
Right now.
Oh, the pin! Great pin by Alexander, able to get the Genji out of the fight. Basically, oh, let's break it. Damn!
Welcome to the CGL Breakdown. I'm so excited, and honestly, we have some exciting news. We are rebranding from the OXC to CGL, and we're going to clip right pin on fantastic from Alexander Eve. We'll bring it in, and
Doing great.
Yeah, doing great. Can't complain. Oh, yes. Well, you touched on it, Sultan. As you can see here, gone with the X. OXC is gone. Welcome to CGL, Console Gaming League. And as I touched on before, no more X. That means PS4 players are welcome to join our community. And as of today, we are officially accepting signups for PlayStation 4 with our Overwatch, Fortnite, and Destiny communities. More breaking news here. Prize pools rolling out in the first quarter of 2019. We will be adding prize pools to end of the season tournaments, as well as many other opportunities to compete for prizes in the console scene. And with this, we're branching out to more games. Gears 5, Black Ops 4, PUBG, just some of the titles you can expect us to expand to as we look forward to this next year and our continued growth. We want to thank everybody for riding this out with us, being patient with the news. We teased it all day long, and this is huge. This could change the landscape of console gaming as we know it. So if you want to get involved with other games or know PS4 friends that want to hop on over, get them, reach out on the Discord, drumming up all interest for all these possible games, bring in more people, continue the growth, and get excited because we are branching out from Overwatch and Fortnite, and we will be going into other games. This is an exciting time, and glad that we waited to break this onto the CGL Breakdown here tonight. Boys, I know, Sultan, you've been around since almost day one, and Headrammer, you've been very helpful and coming on board the last year or so. What do you guys think about this move, and how excited are you?
Oh man, I'm excited. First of all, obviously, like you said, we teased it a little bit, and just excited to bring more opportunities to console gamers. We'll have both free and paid levels. Obviously, we couldn't have done this without our community, so just a huge thank you to everybody that's been around, whether you've been here for 1 season or 5 seasons. Obviously, we love our community, and we appreciate everything you guys have put into it. And yeah, obviously, that's not.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I've been here for just a few months now, and through all that time, I feel like I've grown so much of a player, and just being part of this community is just been an absolute blast.
Yeah, so we definitely have a big future ahead, and obviously, stay tuned to Discord, stay tuned to this program, as you know, we leak more news and more events coming up for CGL in the future. You guys will definitely be the first to hear about it as soon as we get the okay and move and push everything along. So we open with that breaking news. Once again, thank you to everyone in the community. Over 1,000 members strong. This will be 2 years old come January 7th of 2019. Hard to believe the growth and all the places this thing has gone to, considering how it started. But to kind of transition away from that, after that breaking news, there's obviously Overwatch news to get into. And boys, let's start it out. It's October now. September came and went. Summer came and went. And going into Overwatch news, it looks like Halloween Terror will return again, October 19th through the 31st. I did see a teaser video out there for Chateau Guillard with a little bit of a different theme. So, boys, new skins are going to come out, that's for sure. Probably Junkenstein's Revenge, maybe, or maybe a different turn with a different map. What are you guys expecting from this event? Considering we got some really good skins last year, like Symmetra's skin, and one of the first year, obviously, Mercy skin was a big favorite. But what are you guys expecting? Who do you think is going to get some skins? What are you expecting out of this event as a whole?
I'm expecting a lot of Junkenstein photobombs. That was always one of my favorite parts about the event, was going up and trying to time it, just doing the dumbest of emotes, or acting out things right in front of the characters, trying to time it perfectly. That was always my favorite part of the event.
I do like Halloween, and obviously they teased a little bit of like Frankenstein's Bride a little bit, right, in the developer update. So excited to see what that can be.
Yes.
Skins with that as well.
Who do we think the bride will be?
I don't know, like sure.
I think something's going on with Widowmaker. Maybe that, especially with that teaser I saw about Chateau Guillard and what might happen there. So I think we're definitely getting some kind of special Widowmaker skin out of this event for sure.
That'd be cool.
I'm always down for these special event skins, like especially the ones like my first year playing Overwatch. I missed some of the best skins. I had to wait the entire year to come around and get it again. But I got them. I was super happy, and now I'm on top of it a bit more. I'm going to go grind it, get those loot boxes, and get me some skins.
Yeah, definitely keep your eye out for some of those new Halloween skins and Halloween costumes as well. Overwatch has Halloween costumes that they're rolling out in conjunction with the event all over the country, so that should be pretty exciting. I feel like we're going to see a lot of. I mean, obviously, cosplayers have been doing it for a while, but should be interesting. I don't know if I'll see any in.
We're about to see a lot of divas, that's for sure.
No, too true.
Other Overwatch / Blizzard news is we're almost on the verge of cross-platform play.
What's that?
And this is huge. I know Fortnite's been experiencing with it, testing that out, but interesting to hear what Blizzard said, and we do have a quote from them. No, maybe a little long, but here it is. We've had great experience with crossplay for Hearthstone, on other platforms, and have witnessed how compelling it can be for our community. There's still a lot of work to do on both our side and the platform side to understand whether crossplay might be integrated into our other games. So we'll be watching the upcoming test, and we'll assess what the potential impact of this feature would be for our players in our games. We've had a great experience. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. I almost read it twice. This is big, guys. There's a lot of things at play here. It's going to potentially it could combine 2 player pools, and I don't know what kind of impact that would have for Overwatch. Maybe they'd have to reset MMR since you'll be playing against people in PS4 and also on Xbox. This could lead to one general umbrella of a organized team play for Overwatch, especially on console. Cough, what we do, cough. So it's exciting. I'm kind of surprised it's taken so long. I mean, technology has advanced so much, but maybe, just different platforms that both perform differently. So there's obviously boundaries that they're going to have to cross over. But what do you think about the news of potentially Overwatch being PS4 and Xbox in the same player pool?
I'd be totally down for that.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
Yeah, because we could. Yeah, sorry about that. It allows us to play back and forth way more, expanding the global player pool. So if you would think about it, when you have more players, you would think matchmaking times would go down, and then you never have the situation of where, well, my friends are on PS4, except for this one is on Xbox. You can still play and queue with each other. Just it adds so much more opportunity for players and people to have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the cross-plat play will be exciting. Get, like you said, Matt, larger player base, and should be a good time. Yeah, I think obviously enough about Overwatch news. We've got a lot of exciting CGL action to get into, and first things up, we got Carbon's here. Really solid games, I think, all the way through the week, and obviously we'll touch on a little bit of the stuff next week. But first off, Unacceptable up against Instalock, and I'm going to level with you guys. Going into this game, I really thought Instalock were going to have a bit of the upper hand. Nothing against Unacceptable, but Instalock off of 2 strong wins coming into this game. I really thought that they'd be able to take Unacceptable to task, but not the case. So now Carbon kind of shapes up a little bit, and we'll get into standings here in a bit, but I think throughout this game, just very solid. Unacceptable doing well in Iconwald here, and I don't know, just all the way through, I really enjoyed watching this game.
Yeah, a lot of big ults came out, especially Instalock with D.Va having multiple multi-kill self-destructs. Even game throughout, both rewatching this game earlier, all 3 of these maps could have gone either way, which was something you always want to see as a viewer, especially. And these 2 teams right here are just playing good Overwatch right now. Unacceptable has really taken a grasp on Carbon tier in general, but you saw Instalock. They had some internal drama over the beginning of the season, came back strong, 2 strong games in a row, and they took Unacceptable to the task here. Just a couple plays didn't go their way, and some nice execution on the side of Unacceptable down the stretch in some of these maps.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Like I said, Unacceptable, I thought they'd slip up in this game, and Instalock did well, but like you said, took them to task in a couple games, and I think kind of made it close, but all the way throughout couldn't really get over the line there. Unacceptable booked 4-2 and tied now, I believe, with Munchies Juniors at 4-2, while Wasted Potentials 5-0-1 a little bit further away. So really solid throughout this game. Like seeing these 2 teams go back and forth, and generally pretty solid throughout. Other games in this tier, though, it was a Inner Circle and Alacrity. Inner Circle and Alacrity going head-to-head there. Inner Circle also doing well. Actually, I think
that's Challenger.
That is a Challenger tier. let me check these notes here. Well, I know, first of all, Munchies Juniors 2-1 over insert team name here, another close game. Kind of in the same boat there. It's a team towards the top of the tier doing well, ending the playoff hopes of kind of a lower ranked team there. And in that game, insert team name got the win on Eichenwald, and it kind of looked good for them, but then couldn't quite get over the line after, I believe, a 1-1 defeat on Oasis, and then just came down to that final game and couldn't quite get the win there. So a nice come from behind victory for Munchies Juniors to get up to 4-2 and kind of cement themselves in the playoffs there.
Yeah, you're seeing these top 3 Carbon tier teams kind of separate themselves. Wasted Potentials probably the strongest team in this tier, but what I did like seeing from Unacceptable in this match in particular, in this game in particular, the focus fire when they needed to. That's a big thing that I know some of the higher tier players that have coached my team and been around players around gold and platinum is focus fire. If you're able to put all the pressure on a couple key targets and everyone's focusing on the same people, you're going to win team fights, you're going to win games. I thought they did a very good job of that in this game, and practically led to a couple of their big closeouts down the stretch on maps like Horizon and Eichenwald.
Definitely, exactly what I was mentioning. Just having the focus fire and the teamwork to coordinate these plays can, I guess for lack of better terms, like elevate your team's play above like the sum of your SR. It can really push you up. You can take on those teams that are maybe higher SR than you, or just maybe a more individually skilled, but that teamwork can bring you up and allow you to win those games.
Yeah, I definitely echo that sentiment. I know that on the Now Defunct beats by Lucio, I think Season 1 and 2 definitely punching above our weight. It came down to just cohesion, coordination, playing together a lot, and being able to get the wins in games where maybe it looked like you weren't quite favored. So, yeah, but I think as far as playoff picture goes for this tier, obviously you can see the top 3 teams will make the playoffs. Wasted Potential, very in a really good position there, still undefeated. to get that top spot, that first round bye. Unacceptable, and Munchies Juniors probably face off there in the semifinal game. But obviously 2 games to play. You know, you see a team maybe like Munchies Juniors take 2 losses in these final 2 weeks of the season. Maybe insert team name here, and Salah kind of is able to kind of get into that position. Really, anything can happen. I think that still this tier does look pretty set, but maybe we'll see some shakeup. It's going to take a lot of help. But I think this is pretty much your playoff picture for Carbon tier. And I mean, what more can say about Wasted Potential? Getting the win over Newcomers Resiliency, so not quite an accurate record, having to come directly into the community to play against a Wasted Potential side that is looking rampant. But you know, what can you do? Stick around for season 6 should be good. Obviously, being able to get in the community, get some practice, always nice as well. But yeah, Wasted Potential. Say, what can you say?
Dominance.
Yeah, I think we have a clip from that later, so definitely stick around. But moving on to the Challenger tier, Sombra's Tech Support up against Triple R, Rickamaru Ramen's Revenge. Another solid game from this side. Sombra's Tech kind of in a difficult spot this season. I think sitting now at 2-3-1, but getting a 3-0 win over the 3-3 Triple R to kind of mix up Challenger a little bit. I think yeah, we could see definitely some shakeups there on both sides of the divisions.
Yeah, Triple R had definitely had a better record coming into this game, and though it was a 3-0, the Oasis game was pretty close in general. It went to the 3rd map on Oasis, and it was honestly pretty much anyone's game from that point. They gave them a real run for the money. Then on Eichenwald, Triple R was defending for quite a good while and was actually able to stabilize on 3rd point after Sombra's Tech Support pushed really strong through 1st and 2nd point, and they ended up having to switch a lot of the composition to make their way through. Unfortunately for Triple R, their attack was able to push through, and they were able to make it and take the point. However, when it came to defense, Sombra's Tech Support's defense was really strong, and they were able to hold on 1st point. And then the same would end up going for Horizon, where their defense was very strong. They just had to take the 1st stick.
It's another impressive victory there for Sombra's Tech Support. But yeah, Matt, I was about to say, if you have any kind of input to this game, maybe first-hand experience, perhaps.
They did a lot early that, you know, kind of made us rethink, especially on Oasis. Oasis was in it, as our captain Swift like to put it, it was extremely sweaty. There were literally times on Oasis where it's just a couple picks, maybe, you know, one better ult went our way and kind of, you know, swung that opportunity open for us to take control and hold on to it. Horizon historically has been a very strong map for us, even with the rework. I don't know, we all hate the map, but it just seems that we play well on it together. It makes no sense to me, but Triple R, very tough team, and that win kept our slim playoff hopes alive. And you know, so we needed that. Luckily, we were able to get the sweep and get the 3-0 to help with those map wins. But that was literally a game where if, you know, another ult would have went their way, they would have won Oasis, or they would have, you know, won on Eichenwald. But, you know, just good execution out of us and helped us keep that season chugging along. And Challenger, once again, very, very tight. There's some big games these last 2 weeks that are going to shake up the playoff race, that's for sure.
I was particularly impressed with, I believe, Memes in your team. You guys were opening up a lot of space for him to kind of pop off when needed. And even on the side of Triple R, Exotic, even though the team was losing in the majority of this game, Exotic was finding ways to get 2, 3, sometimes even 4 kills and bring his team back from the brink of losing many times. I was watching that game as it happened, and again, earlier today, it was really impressive me how much he was able to pop off.
Really solid game from both sides, and like I said, Challenger really starting to shape up here. Obviously, the Overwatch division still really tight. You've got 3 teams that are 5-1. That's obviously come from teams that have since dropped, but Inner Circle, Junket, Shimada, and Chaotic looking to make it interesting there in the Overwatch division. On the other side, D9 and PCOW, who had that spectacular matchup, I believe it was in week 4, still sitting there top of the table. Rick Morrow, Ramen's Revenge, like I said, tripped up there a little bit, 3-3. You've got DGBR right on their tails, just right outside the playoff position with 8 map wins. But you bring up a valid point. Sombra's Techsport with a good opportunity to get into that playoff position with the 9 map wins, so that's definitely something kind of works in your favor should it come down to the wire between you guys. In DGBR, that 6th and final challenger playoff position, very well up for grabs. I think the first 5 probably pretty cemented well, but that last one will be a definitely interesting fight between these 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 6th teams going into the last 2 weeks of the season.
Definitely, there's still plenty of room for people to make it in there, especially as it gets close to these last few games here.
Yeah, you got 3 teams battling for 1 spot. That's going to be fun to overwatch down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it. Moving on to the contender tier. This game was Boosting Company over Pro Throw, and another interesting one, Contender. First of all, just as an aside, I love the competition in all of the tiers this season. I think it's been really tight, and I really enjoyed watching it. This one puts whoever won this game was going to go up to 4-2 and kind of get a little more nestled into the top spot or top-ish spots there in Contender. And Boosting Co. able to come away with the tight win. Going up to 4-2. Obviously, map wins don't really favor them. Pro Throw sitting up with 10. We'll get to that there in a second. But what can you tell me about this game, guys?
Oh, I'll take it first. This was another one where just ult combinations and timing seemed to make the difference, and the Reaper play on Eichenwald, on Oasis, and on Horizon was really the difference maker, especially for the Boosting Company. There were times on Horizon where Hairball would just drop down there, really get the damage going, and it would kind of distracted Pro Throws and allowed openings for the team to follow up. And Eichenwald give a lot of credit to the Doomfist play, which you don't see a lot of in console or in our community in general. And I know at the end of Eichenwald, just the amount of pressure and the picks that Doomfist was getting just really prevented Pro Throws from really making a strong contest down the stretch on that map.
Yeah, Doomfist, when he gets going, can be a menace to stop because he gets those increased shields for all the damage he's doing. If he just keeps landing those combinations, he can get up to like 300, 350 health, and it's just impossible to take him down. And it's actually also just, I guess, better word, traumatizing. If you have this guy coming into you, one hit killing you, jumping in your back line out of nowhere, and just taking you out and then jumping out. It's kind of scary, especially as like a support or a squishy.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. Doomfist, fun to watch when you've got a good Doomfist. Can be difficult to play against, especially since you think about how Doomfist came into the game. Not a lot of people would play him, or if they did, they wouldn't play him well. I knew that Doomfist was kind of like an easy target in a lot of the games early on because the movement wasn't quite really mastered by a lot of players, and so you could kind of exploit that. But as people start getting more comfortable with these kind of off-meta heroes, they get harder to counter, right? Junkrat, I think, before those huge changes came through, was definitely another hero that people had a hard time countering. Then once he kind of became more prominent, people learned how to play against him, and it changed things. But the Doomfist play definitely a little bit difficult here to contend with. Also noticed a lot more Ana play coming out in the league, and a little bit of Sombra play as well. So I think a theme in these last few weeks has been how do teams counter these atypical heroes, the ones you don't see all that often. And I think we may see something similar going into the Torb rework.
Oh yeah, that's Torb's gonna be a menace when he comes out, especially in that beginning when it seems when heroes are reworked or a new hero comes out, everyone just assumes it's OP because you gotta, obviously sometimes there's bugs, but you got to get used to playing against them. And I still think May is in that category. You saw Pro Throws utilize the May very well on Oasis, and that was the map they got their win on. There's characters like that. May is always, especially as a tank main, May is incredibly infuriating to play against. And obviously that coming out was big execution and a huge difference maker on Oasis. But you're going to see a wide open meta with Torb coming in. He's going to get a lot of play. He's going to be tough to stop in the beginning, but it's a good thing you're seeing more Ana, seeing a little more Doomfist, and we're really not getting the stale. Oh, you're running Winston Diva or you're running Ryan Zarya. I'm seeing a little more Orisa Roadhog and situational spots. So we're really at a point right now where you can really run anything, especially in these league games, and that's always a big positive to see.
Yeah, definitely. Looking at the contender standings, still also pretty tight. You've got some kind of these last few spots wide open, especially with 2 games left in the season. The records are really tight all the way down. Look at the Horizon division. Top 6 teams with 3 wins. That's going to make it a little bit difficult. You really got to be aware of, just getting the map wins. Obviously, 3-0s are always better, but you see teams with kind of those high map wins, Astrantia, and who obviously we need a lot of help. But Prothrow there, right outside the kind of the spot there, could be in a playoff position come 2 weeks from now, so that'll be important. Other notable results this week, guys: Munchies over Danny DeVito. And just briefly, I know we've said before, it's shocking to see Danny DeVito struggle this season after such a strong appearance last season. Just it seems like a completely different team, so kind of shocking to see them in a difficult position there, but still, all the best to them. And there, Tigress over DLG, both battle of the or I guess now 2s and 3s. And again, it just goes back to how tight this whole tier is, right? This game's really just determining maybe not quite determining, rather the strength of the teams in the playoff position, because we can see a lot of changes, right?
Yeah, I think it speaks to like how close all these teams are. Like looking at these records, you have 3 teams that are 3-3, 2 that are 4-2 in the Horizon division. It just speaks like all these teams are probably on any one day beat each other, and just I love when it gets close to the end right here, and it comes down to the line. You need those map wins, you need those game wins, and people really put out their best. And I'm really looking forward to see what our top plays will be for next week.
Speaking of which, excited to do that as well. Excalibur, just the last one there. Excalibur 4-2 over Astrantia 2-4. So I'm excited to see how this will end up going throughout Contender. Like we said, the player position is pretty tight. Prothrow through Team Move and Multiverse, trying to contend with Excalibur there right towards the outside. And actually, now that I'm looking at this table, I think it could be maybe 2 from Talent Division, depending on if one of the sides there picks it up a little bit. Munchie's already in a perceived playoff position, but 2 and 3, and so obviously if it ends up shaking up where somebody in Horizon's a little bit higher, they'll get that playoff spot. But regardless, a lot up for grabs in the Horizon Division of Contender tier, and I'm excited to see how it plays out. Moving on to Rival, though, a fantastic matchup here, Kinetics and Pride Stark. Another really solid matchup, and a bit of a back and forth. It like you see in the info there, 4 teams in Rival at 4-2, and making it a little bit harder. Pride Stark again looking strong in some of these games, not quite in this one, however, dropping to Kinetics, who, I mean, honestly, to their credit, have been a very strong team throughout this season. So can't really fault Pride Stark for that. But all the way around, it was a really exciting watch. Round 1, Pride Stark came out very strongly. They were stalled briefly in the middle section. Really good ultimate combos coming out from Kinetics. It was grab blade here. It was like shatter pulse bomb there. Like, they were doing a really good job of combining their ultimates. And another solid ult combination from Kinetics, I think, eventually stalled them. Pride Stark really struggling to deal with the DPS for Kinetics. Awful reflexes on Genji. Played a little bit of Hanzo as well in this third section, and just really made it difficult for Pride Stark. Kinetics, like we've been saying, their team cohesion is really strong, but I really think it was strong DPS and strong tank play that kind of put them over the edge. Not to say that their supports weren't great or anything, but I think they were well protected and able to kind of do their jobs without having to worry about too much trouble in the backline. But yeah, I think it was Dazzle on Lucio and Daniel Orford on Ana. 2 really solid combos where those are grab coalescence coming in from Pride Stark. They had a sound barrier at the ready, and then obviously having the Ana in there with the bio grenade, able to keep everybody up. It wasn't an issue, and they were able to survive a lot of those heavy ultimates and really kind of waste, to some extent, the ultimates of Pride Stark, because they were able to weather that storm and then respond with ultimates of their own. So yeah, really solid. I think in the second round, on Kinetic's attack. Neon and Awful just making quick work. They cap A within 60 seconds. And to be fair, like Pride Star capped A pretty quickly. But coming in, getting the work done. They got kills, getting really close, or just kind of skating through the second section. They were able to, Dizzy Whitelaw, who had a really strong showing on Reinhardt, kind of tripped up a little bit there in the second section. It kind of looked like Pride Star was able to put up a solid defense, but again, just ultimate combos. Grab Barrage, a nice Blade coming through, cleans up B, Kinetic keep up the momentum and finish the map in the third section after I think one team fight is very quick. So while on the surface, like I said, UPS kind of stealing the show for Kinetics, it really was a strong effort by tanks and like I said, the support line as well. So yeah, just really impressive to watch. On Oasis, and obviously getting a chance to do this game, I was excited to watch it. But on Oasis, Pride Start came out very strongly, capped early, and kind of going to plant a flag on the point, so to speak. Really defended well for a while. Kinetics took the point back, and then there was a few ultimates that they had to weather for a while. They ended up taking the lead. Pride Start comes back. It was really back and forth. They recap, then it's another Kinetics Blade to cap the point. Interestingly enough, Genjis on both sides here. No really Brigidas. Nobody wanted to counter. They weren't really playing a counter game. They had pretty solid team lineups and stuck to them and really just kind of brawled it out to see who was going to have the advantage. On University, I think Kinetics capped first. Pride Star were able to take it back, and again, just couldn't quite get the team fights, losing some of those ultimate fights, couldn't quite get on the front foot there, and Kinetics eventually victorious. But honestly, there's not much bad you can say about this Kinetics side. They're looking really good, and it's just, one step maybe ahead of the opposition here, and it really kind of showed in this game.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with what you said earlier when you mentioned about the DPS Kinetics. The duo of Awful and Neon Blue are just very very strong, very powerful. They can be deadly. They can play probably any DPS players on a very high level, and they coordinate with each other to get into those back lines and completely take them out. And this actually shows a lot of resiliency out of the side of Kinetics, because they were actually our early frontrunner team. They were 3-0 for a little while there, and then ended up taking 2 losses in a row. But now they came back with solid 3-0. So I think they've kind of learned from their faults and been improving themselves, practicing really hard. And if they can come back with this solid 3-0, I think shows a lot for them.
Yeah, definitely. And it ended up being a pretty decisive victory. You got the highlights here from Horizon. I think on fantastic pulse bomb to get the devil, but I think on the attack, the initial attack, Pride Star didn't even touch the point until about a minute and a half left in the clock, and by then it was just a matter of Kinetics being able to come in and clean up on their attack. And actually, I think it was a bit of a meme. It was I think it was on a different game. I think it's on the Pink Sox game. We'll get to that in a second. But
there was a Torbjorn defense here. I did see it.
Well, and honestly, I'm happy to see a little bit of Torb. Obviously, with the rework coming, will definitely be a shell of his former self. But Kinetics coming in strongly and getting the win here against Pride Star. Just, yeah, really impressive from them.
I can't get over that pulse bomb on Horizon.
That's
was just perfectly timed, perfectly placed. That's a big performance out of Kinetics. They're in a very tough battle at the top of that rival tier, that's for sure. So you need an impressive win over a team like Pride Star, who, they're floating around middle of the tier, but they've been around for a bit. They're a very competent team. They're usually very strong. So a team like for Kinetics to come out and get a big win like that, that's huge for them. Definitely going forward into these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I can't agree more. I think, was Kinetics a team that came up from Contender last season?
Yes, yeah, they were.
So I think what you were saying earlier, Headrammer, that a difficult start to the season, we kind of made a talking point about that, how maybe the teams coming up from Contender would struggle with this rival tier that can be competitive, but settling in nicely, sitting in third place. You look at these player results, obviously EU division, womp womp, but champion teams, there they are. For the Horizon division, though, definitely a lot closer. And like we said in the last 2 tiers, it's really competitive to see who's going to get one of these final spots. Only 2 games back, Pride Star maybe with an opportunity here. I think they have another game to make up, so maybe an opportunity to get a win there. All of a sudden, they're 3-3, 10 points, tied with Paranoia. So, I mean, definitely not set in stone. These 2 weeks are going to be huge. I know we have a ton of major games coming up, and
Yeah,
It's a
I
lot to
think
play for.
probably out of all the tiers, I think this was probably our closest tier. If you look right there at top, we got 4 teams at 4 and 2, including 2 people completely tied in both map score and map points. And like you mentioned, this week will be a big one because you have the number 1 seed playing the number 3 seed, and you have the number 2 seed playing the number 4 seed. So some shakeups are definitely gonna happen.
Yeah, absolutely. As for Befallen and Paul Rising, guys, if you now, especially since we, this cross-platform play comes in, that'll be helpful as well. But EU teams, we love you guys. We do want to create a platform for you as well. If you have an EU team kind of on the fence, get them in for season 6. Like, we would love to have some EU streamers in as well. So make sure you guys get that love. Yeah. Other notable results from Rival this week. I think Communism may get the was that a makeup win for them? Either way, Trash Can
that was a
over
makeup win.
yeah,
Yes.
Communism beat
Yes.
Kinetics, so I guess kind of 1-1 Kinetics, but still looking good in this game over Pride Start. But Trash Can 4-2 over Ironclad, and Trash Can's coming off another solid win last week, coming in here and defeating Ironclad without so much as the blink of an eye. But definitely solid game. Headrammer, what do you have for us on that one?
Yeah, that was a really solid game for us. It was one of those games that we were all playing very well as a team. I think we were hitting some pretty high peaks for ourselves. And Ironclad, I think it's not that we're playing bad. I think they're just having an off week that made us look probably a little better than we are. But honestly, they did give us a little bit of run for our money on Eichelwald there, and Oasis. We actually had some troubles for ourselves on Oasis initially. On the very first point of Oasis, the second the round started, our party chat broke for our team, and we didn't know at the time, but apparently only half the team could talk to one half, and the other half could only talk to themselves. So for the entire first round, we were kind of getting rolled for a good little while there, and however, we were able to recap the point, and I think once we got in the motions of like having that teamwork without being able to speak to each other, we were able to hold them and actually end up still capping that point. Then having to take a pause, we actually fixed our party real quick. But we were definitely tested at times on Oasis.
Could have been catastrophic, but coming away with the win there. And again, like we said, rival division definitely heating up going into these last 2 weeks. Really excited about the upcoming games. We'll get into those week 7 games towards a little bit further back in the broadcast. But coming up on the champion tier, and this is another fun game to watch. Pink Sox, really impressive side, and getting the win here over, I believe that was Potential Disaster, coming off a really solid victory last week against Buffalo Banditos, a 2-1 win for them, so 2-1 in both these games, and all of a sudden Pink Sox giving the champions here maybe a little bit of a run for their money.
Yeah, definitely. Pink Sox came into this season late for us, so they had 3 losses to start with, and since they've joined us, they have not lost a game yet, taking down a few of the teams now that haven't lost yet. So they've been on kind of a roll since they've joined us here. And honestly, this game actually almost didn't happen. We ran a little bit late. I think there was some late waking up for some people, but they got in and were actually able to play the game. And they did a pretty solid win, minus some memery on Horizon.
Well, and I mean, this team is just fun to watch, though. Obviously, Pink Sox do play well, and can be kind of a series, a little bit sweaty, like Swift says, when they need to. But I think a bit of a once they got to when they do, they were going to be able to win the game. Get a little mini mission, but fun to watch, and obviously it's a valid comp, right? Like,
yeah,
if heroes exist, you can play them.
The one thing I love about watching Pink Sox play is they have they're not one of the teams that like strictly plays meta. They will bring out some random strats. They'll throw in some Bastion, some extra teleporting around, and they'll execute it really well. So that they're really, really entertaining to watch, and you never truly know what to expect when playing them.
Not agree more with you. And can come right down to the death too. Obviously, we also last week coming away with the 2-1 win after a strong defense. Like we said, just a fun team to watch, and they play really well. Have some strong players. And champions here could also be pretty exciting. Sometimes a little slim in seasons past, but nice, pretty robust tier given the amount of players even in that upper echelon. So I think my favorite part about this game now is we see the play of the game, as we probably I don't know if we'll see it, but Raid Linksy over here playing DPS for Potential Disaster, definitely a bright spot for them. I think played a little bit of Tracer as well, and just playing absolute bananas, kind of out of his mind. Looks really solid. So, yeah, Pink Sox just coming in and taking names. I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, now going up to I think 3-3. Maybe they had a makeup game as well. Potential Disaster 2-2, and looking at the champion standings. Still, Prometheus there at the top. Buffalo Banditos, like we said, their first loss last week to the aforementioned foot coverings. Potential Disaster at 4-2. Pink Sox, I definitely think could come back in. You see, I mean, at least I think the other two teams that have to play, Bogarts and probably Prometheus, right? Get some points there, and Buffalo Banditos and Potential Disaster might have to play each other upcoming. And I just really appreciate all the competition coming into these final weeks of the season for every single tier.
Yeah, every tier is very close. And we always see some movement these last couple weeks, but really, almost it looks really every tier. Maybe if Munchie Juniors drops 2 straight or Unacceptable drops 2 straight, you know, maybe Carbon could shift itself up a bit, but really every other tier, challenger, contender, rival, and champion, if you hit a losing streak or you drop a game even this week or week 8, that could be the difference between your team making the playoffs or being out of it. I do believe Pink Sox is definitely potentially a team to be reckoned with if they can sneak in to Champions playoff picture. Rival, literally the games these next 2 weeks are you're in first place right now. You could end up 4th, or you could end up out of the playoffs at this rate right now. Second, same thing. So it's important for these last 2 weeks to make sure you get your game scheduled and make sure you're playing to win, because these map points, these playoff positions are on the line, and this is where your cream kind of rises to the crop right before playoff time.
No mercy at all. And even if you're one of the teams that's not going to make it in the playoffs, I'm really looking forward to some big potential upsets and maybe some teams playing spoiler to create some rivalry and making people not be in the playoffs.
And don't underestimate the spoiler games too. Hopefully, you see maybe a bottom barrel, to put it lightly. I'm on ITNH, I can say that. Team goes up against one of those kind of playoff hopefuls and gets the win there. That's some exciting stuff. Obviously, some heartbreak. We'll see if that comes out as well. But man, my favorite part of the show coming up. Top plays, had some really solid plays coming through this time. You guys really appreciate it. Really enjoy it. Some really good stuff all the way around. Nature Chicken coming out immediately, and big shout out. Who was this? I think it was Tyra Banks with this outrageous reticle. What? First of all, Grab Dragon, but this reticle is
absolutely disgusting crosshair.
Supporting here with
I was like, when I watched this clip, I was not sure if what I was seeing was real or not. That's awesome.
And supporting hero coming out for Waste Potential, getting Nicole lets us play the game. Really solid. Dad and the lads. Another solid game from them. Hasio de PK. I really hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm sorry if I don't, but just almost carrying here with Anna. The bio grenade in, grabs the Widow, and I think had Arissa as well. The team focus here, just really, really solid. And then a Bastion up on the top, not an issue. Able to toss another sleep dart in there as well, and just showing you how Anna's supposed to be played. Impressive there from Hasio.
Who said you can't carry on support?
Right? Who says you can't carry on support? Exactly. Waste Potential showing why they're on top here. And I think Fallen Potatoes, who grabbed this game, mentioned it as well. A triple pulse bomb after the shatter coming in. The team focus, the charge in, just beautiful to watch. That's why Waste Potential up there, 5-0-1. Why we like watching them on CGL. Royal Killer with another shatter. Shatters abound. Diva bombs in a few weeks past, but shatters coming in this time. Coming in from the top, nobody saw him coming. I think caught 4 in that shatter. And then just the cleanup play here from Trash Cans. Really impressive all the way around from them.
That was the funniest one in game.
Just dominating. This one obviously we saw in the beginning. Alexander E trying to go in for a pin. Completely surprised though. The Nano Blade, the wasted ultimates from both sides. That's just coming in with the pin, shutting it down immediately. Fantastic. Just the Dizzy Whitelaw, just like I said, popping off there. That's a solid game from him.
And
That's one. I apologize, guys. This is my play. Sparky 4.
Yeah, this
the
actually
Lucio boob.
It was a double boob, guys. It didn't play, and I'm so sorry.
that Lucio boob actually saved that entire fight for us. We were gonna lose it.
And we'll have to repost that because it's a fantastic play. Sage here, EMP, Shatter, Deadeye in the combo there for just dominating, man. Just really solid. Top plays.
Yeah, that was a fat Deadeye for sure.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. The Sombra comes in, the EMP combo. You know, people just nobody knows how to play against the EMP unless you have maybe like a smart Zen in the back, but it's always so tough. You gotta play so tight now. Gita comps, EMP is so useful.
Like, what can you do when all your abilities are you can't use them? You have no abilities.
Exactly. Yeah, so I'm definitely excited for that, guys. As we start to wrap up here a little bit, going into games for next week, like we said, really, really solid matchups. Excited for them. Buffalo Banditos up against Potential Disaster. We just saw them both coming off the win against Pink Sox. Probably happy to avoid them on the schedule this week. 5-1 and 4-2. Potential battle for first place in champions. So definitely want to catch that one. Make sure you're in the Discord and able to see when that's scheduled. Get on that stream. Should be a lot of fun. We've got some fantastic streamers this season stepping up and to be able to cover these games so that we have just all the content. You guys can see all the CGL action that you want. Rival tier. Like we said, a lot of teams tied 4-2, all of them playing. I know, Headremmer, you mentioned it. It's Communism and Trash Cans, battle for the first in division. Shimada and Armada and Kinetics facing off as well. That Shimada Armada Kinetics game should be a cracker. Man, I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that one myself, especially because it also matters to me because I'm in the rival tier.
Right. Yeah. So again, watch these games. You got to know how your opponents are doing. See where you're sitting in the playoff standings. It's all coming down to the wire. Contender tier exciting games as well. It's Boost & Co versus Excalibur, both 4-2. That's the matchup of the week there. So we'll try and get that one on the stream for you as well. Excited for that matchup. Then from the challenger tier, it's Inner Circle and Chaotic, both 5-1. That's what I'm saying, guys. The games for this week are just absolutely coconuts. 2 5-1 teams going off in Challenger. Triple R and 3-3-3, or 3-3 rather. DGBR also 3-3, looking for that last playoff spot. So a lot of intrigue there. Then in Carbon, it's Unacceptable and Munchies Juniors, both 4-2, looking for kind of supremacy in that second place spot. Won't super matter for them, but may be able to avoid the licking flames of the last two positions, looking to climb up into that third spot. So all the way around, week 7 proving to be a week you don't want to miss.
Yeah, definitely. Also, reminder, if we just had our top clips here, if you think you can do better, or you have a cool play you saw or did one of these games, make sure to submit those to our submission form. You can see the link for that down in the information hub channel of our Discord. We're accepting plays typically around to like early Monday morning, but the faster you get them in, the better.
I'll sort through all those plays. Definitely a lot of fun, so definitely submit them because we love seeing the highlights and the clips from those games. Try and pull some from the stream view, but we also love your first person as well. Play the game, all the good stuff. Saw the Warrior Coalescence and not quite that Lucio boot, but again, go back and watch that trash can. Catch it, but it was a good one. It was a double boop over.
Yeah, that boop, like he was booping people all day, and that one, like I said, it would 100% save that team point for us. We were about to talk about how I need to regroup a little bit, but that one saved it.
Yeah, and talking about the posting clips, guys, the 1v1 is on. So if you've got 1v1 clips, post that as well. Been just pretty exciting 1v1 in the past. Looking forward to see what we have in the future here. And if you think that only DPS can win this thing, it was a tank main that won it last year. So yeah, hedge your bets, see what happens, right?
Also, remember that your first round of the 1v1 tournament needs to be played by October 5th. I believe that is Friday. So get your matches in, get your clips in. Flood us with clips. Make sure they're good. Make sure they're quality. But I know there's always some fat plays in these games. Get these clips over. And if you're in the 1v1, if you end up getting Widow and you one-shot your opponent right off the gate, put that in there. We want to all the clips. Spam us with clips, people. Let's do it.
We love clips.
Yeah, we want to highlight and feature you.
And appreciate you guys, everybody watching the stream. Again, Could have done all this without the community. We're excited about the rebrand. And the winner of the raffle for stream viewers, Kai Does Art, at Jamie Madrock. So thank you for watching, for sharing, and yeah, guys, that's been the breakdown. We, any other closing thoughts, guys?
I'm just super looking forward to this week's games because, well, one is how close these tiers are, and it has a pretty big effect on my team as well. I'm really excited to watch all these.
Make sure you're in the stream schedule channel.
Another good week of action, and with the news that broke today, there's a lot of big things and bright plans going on in this. Once again, just thank everybody for coming along the ride with us. We couldn't do it without each and every one of you, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So for WoodyCap, Matt, and Salt and Pepper, see you guys next time.
Bye.